Hey guys, Brad here. Are you a new investor or are you a seasoned investor that enjoys the podcast, but you just can't seem to wrap your head around notes and subject to creating wraps as well as the various other things that I talk about? There's one thing that I see that is really common with most real estate investors, especially wholesalers, and it's this. If you aren't creating notes, then you are leaving more money on the table than you are actually making. If you want to change this in your business, then reach out to me at brad@bradsmotherman.com. We are opening our apprentice program in just a few weeks, and in this program, we work together on deals, one-on-one, and we profit share in your local market. Are you ready to have a real mentor instead of just buying another course? Reach out to me, brad@bradsmotherman.com. Hey guys, Brad here with Investor Creator, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 signs that your mindset is actually the problem in your business. But before we get to that point, I do want to go over a couple of housekeeping items. So my family and I, we just got back from Seaside, Florida. Had a great time. We went down there for my wife's 33rd birthday, and it was actually over Labor Day weekend, but we got this really nice 4-bedroom house, a 3-minute bike ride to the beach, and just had a fantastic time. We all had a great time. I would say that my son had a little bit less of a great time because he's 15 months old and decided to eat sand. And of course, you start to eat sand and it gets in your eyes, and sand in the eyes for a 15-month-old boy is not the most fun thing. Not the most fun thing for anybody, but I would say for him, it made him a little bit less happy. So I know the parents out there can certainly relate to that, but we had a great time. And the fun part is, it's like being a self-employed person, I decided on the last day, like, okay, let's just stay another day. You know, we didn't have anything super pressing. I've got a good team back home. And so we stayed an extra day. And it's those little moments like that I'm just so thankful and just feel so blessed that I'm self-employed and can do those kinds of things. So we stayed an extra day and it was a lot of fun. So second thing I want to talk about is we actually are in the process of launching our own Facebook group. And so if you're interested in connecting with me and connecting with some of the guests that we've had on the show, Keith Yackey, Avi Rosowski, group of others, David Alexander, Jerry Rickey, they're all in the group, and you'll want to search for that on Facebook. It's called the Investor Creator Community. So if you want to connect, then be sure and reach out to us there. We're answering questions, networking back and forth. It's just a really great group of people. And if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, then we're happy to have you there. So the Investor Creator Community on Facebook. So without further ado, I want to talk about mindset. And I want to preface it by saying I'm definitely not one to harp on anyone about any of this, because mindset is something that, especially whenever I started in this business, it was something that was a definite struggle for me. And what I realized is that your mindset today is your business tomorrow. And so if our mindset is broken today, we're going to have a broken business. We may have even broken relationships, broken health, because energy tends to move in sets. And what I mean by that is it's very rare that I see someone that has an amazing business, but they don't take care of themselves with their health. They don't take care of their family relationships. They are dirty and messy and all this. It seems like as one thing gets better, kind of everything gets better. So you work on your marriage and your marriage gets better, but maybe you start going to the gym, or maybe you start keeping your car a little bit more clean, things like that. So I think that things kind of move in sets, and I think that that is the basic idea behind whenever there's a mindset shift, it impacts everything. If I sound harpy in any way, it's not my intention, because guys, I lost years in this battle, and it's not what I want for you guys. So if you have any of these things that I'm going to be talking about, then what I would submit to you is spend some time and thought on why these things are impactful for you and how we can change it. So I'm going to go through the list of 5 things that I see with people, and it's not in any particular order. You may have one of these, none of these, or you may have all of them. But if you do kind of relate to one or more of these, then I would submit to you that it's probably something you want to take some time and think about why that is. So without further ado, number 5, afraid to market. Guys, as a real estate investor, we're really in the marketing business. And what I mean by that is, if we don't have motivated sellers to talk to, then it's going to be really difficult for us to buy equity. And we're in the equity purchasing business, okay? Houses are a means to an end. Land and mobile homes and whatever, it's a means to an end. We're in the equity business, but we have to have people to talk to. So I see pretty often, especially newbies, are afraid to spend that marketing dollar, even if they have money. Guys, when I started, I didn't have money. So I think I spent roughly $200 on bandit signs. And those bandit signs lasted me like 3 months because I would go out Friday night, put them out, pick them up early Monday morning. And that's how I made my signs last, So for a lot of people, even today, that still works and you can make that work. But you have to have the mindset that it can be done. If you have the mindset that, marketing doesn't work, marketing is an expense, all this, you're going to have a tough time. And at the end of the day, marketing is a revenue generator. And that's what we're in this business for, is to buy and sell houses, create revenue. We're not in the cost saving business. We're in the profit generating business. And those at times are mutually exclusive. So if you have a difficult time spending money in marketing, or if you have a difficult time putting your own sweat, energy into marketing, then I would submit to you that you really don't believe in this business and you don't believe that this business is real, or at least maybe that you can't do it. Another one that I see is that you're nervous before an appointment. And guys, this one hits home for me. It's why we created the processes that we did, because man, I was so nervous going into a seller's house, like knocking on the door, and I didn't know what to say or how to say it, or when am I going to pull out the purchase and sale agreement? And, it was just like a mess. I don't even know how I bought my first house. Like, I guess the seller just pulled out a purchase and sale agreement and said, well, Brad, sign here if you want to buy. Like, it wasn't really like that, but you get my point. Is like, I was so nervous that it was difficult for me to focus. It was difficult for me to make good decisions. It was difficult for me to do anything that was necessary to buy equity. So if you're nervous before your appointments, then I would submit to you that part of that is you either are new or you don't have enough appointments to go on. And so you have a marketing problem, which kind of goes back to being afraid to market. All right, number 3. And this is a big one, guys. I see this pretty often. Jealous of others' transactions. Jealous of others' transactions. For some reason, I really see this on the wholesale side. And I've done a few wholesale deals in my career. It's been years since I have, but I remember a few transactions. And these were with people that I knew pretty well and people that I like, but they would see that we were making $40,000 on a wholesale fee, and they were going to make $35,000 on a rehab that would take them far longer. And they were very upset with me about that. To the point that I remember this one lady was sending me the angry face emoji over and over and over again on my text. I'm like, what is going on with this? But what I realized is that if you're jealous of other people's transactions, then you have an issue in terms of lack, because you think that transaction is not going to happen for you. Guys, there's enough transactions for everybody. And it's one of the things, I coach people in my local market to do transactions, and I love when they do them. And people often ask me, like, why would you tell people exactly what you're doing and the marketing that you're doing and all this? Aren't you creating competition? I'm like, well, maybe some, but like, who cares? And I've actually, even to this day, and I've probably helped, I don't know, a couple dozen people in my market, I've never actively competed against someone in my local market that I've helped. It's like, that's how like wide of a supply we have with motivated sellers. We're all doing transactions. We're all doing very well, but we very, very have any overlap. Okay. But if we did, it's like, hey, may the best man win. And if it's you, like, hey, I'm going to shake your hand and buy you a drink after you buy the house, because I think that's great. I remember one transaction. This was years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I went to buy a house and we agreed on the price, but I didn't get the paperwork signed. And I don't remember really the situation. And somebody came to that house about 2 hours later and bought it. And when I went to follow up with the seller, they said, oh, well, Joe Smith down the street, he already bought the property. And I remember felt like I had a punch in the gut, because there was roughly a $100,000 equity position there. And it was just like, man, like upset, mad, and angry. And I realized then it's like, look, that's just a waste of energy. That's a waste of time. And I reframed it to just being happy that those deals were out there for everybody to get. And those deals, guys, wherever you are in your market, there are motivated sellers. If there's houses and there's sellers, then there's motivated sellers in your market that are happy to sell to you at a discount. There's enough to go around. Issue number 2, and this is a big one, never enough info. I know a couple people offhand that are very, very active in the Facebook groups. They have good inputs on questions. They ask good questions. They know almost everything that there is to know about real estate, but they do very, very, very few transactions. I think one guy's done maybe a dozen. The other guy, I don't think, has done that. And I just don't understand. It's like, if you know all of this info, why don't you go out there and put it to work? Because this business isn't about how much you know. It's about how many houses you go and buy. and then sell. And so it just never really made much sense to me. If you feel like you never have enough information, then that's going to be a problem for you, because there is an issue that I see with people that listening to podcasts is great. Books are great. Being in forums and communicating with people is all great, but it's not work. The only work that we do is when we're in front of a seller or a buyer that can say yes. And everything else is preparatory to work. So don't confuse the two. If you feel like you don't have enough info, then I would submit to you that you probably feel like you're inadequate to do this business. And if that's the case, again, you have to kind of do some soul searching and figure out why that is. But guys, I'm here to tell you, anybody can do this business. I've worked with people across all types of situations and socioeconomic conditions and everything. And everybody can do this business if they make the commitment to do this business. And that's all there is to it. Last and not least is too cost focused. I see so many people that are so cost focused that they can't do anything. They think that, pay-per-click marketing is expensive, or direct mail is expensive, or, hiring a new person, that's just going to take money out of my pocket. Well, guys, if we're here to build a business and make profit, I don't know anybody that's ever had profit with zero cost. And if we're in the profit producing business, we're going to have some costs. Now, I'm not out there blowing and going. I'm pretty conservative. We have a pretty lean team. I have a moderate, mediocre office. It's nothing to write home about. But, I'm not really interested in what we're spending on some of these things, even to the point that I want to spend as much as I can on some things. And the main one there is marketing. I cannot overspend my marketing. If I have efficient, effective marketing, there's no way to spend too much money on that, because it's like buying dollars at a discount. So I know my numbers that it cost me roughly $2,000 to $2,500 in marketing to create a $43,000 equity position. So if I know those numbers, and those are numbers that are tried and true across years at this point, then I know, okay, if I want to make 80 grand this month, let's spend 5 grand in marketing. Now, guys, let me preface that by saying not everybody's going to start off there, okay? This is years of us tweaking things and getting really, really great at what we do. But at the same token, I'm not focused on how much are we spending on marketing this month, because I know if I cut my marketing down to zero, I'm cutting my profit down to zero as well. Guys, I hope that makes sense. If you're interested in joining the Facebook group, we're happy to have you there. I do hope to see you there. I'm in the group, and a bunch of my friends are as well, answering questions and networking. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to meet you guys and hear the impact that I've made across some of your careers. So it's just a lot of fun for me. If you have any questions, reach out to me, Brad at bradsmotherman.com, and we will catch you next time. Happy investing.